We'll return after these messages.
A little something happens when I grab that stick. I become a pop star in just one lick. I'm a popsicle pop star. I'm a popsicle pop star. Creamsicle pop star. All our favorite flavors come on that stick. I become a pop star in just one lick. I'm a popsicle brand pop star. Pop star. Oh, icy new drink. Icy. Just got a new drink. Icy. Now there is a cooler. It's candy apple cooler. Candy apple cooler.
New Hi-C Candy Apple Cooler, made with real fruit juice with a full day supply of vitamin C. So cool, it's cool enough for me.
Candy apple cooler. Hi-C, we drink Hi-C.
I wanna get out and get going, 'cause it's the best time of the day now. Just my friends and my fruit roll-ups. We're having fun for weekends and wow, we love our fruit roll-ups. Fruit corners, fruit roll-ups. We love our fruit roll-ups. Fruit corners, fruit roll-ups. I want real fruit and fun. Roll up and watch. I love my fruit roll-ups.
Now there's even more fun in fruit roll-ups. A free Crayola drawing marker in every box.
I'm Captain O.G. Readmore, a reading kind of cat. Read a book like me, you'll soon agree that reading is where it's at.
We now continue with the Super Friends. We'll return after these messages.
Captain Crunch has disappeared.
The captain's gone!
If you find him, you could win part of $1 million reward in the Where's the Captain sweepstakes. Specially marked Captain Crunch cereal boxes have entry blanks with clues and detective kits to help find him. Millions will guess, answer right, and you have a chance to be one of 10,000 winners of a $100 share of the $1 million. To enter free, write for one of the 3 clues to Where's the Captain, Box 3225, Syosset, New York 11775. Now, where is the Captain?
Reno!
This is Princess Adora, sister of He-Man, and her gentle horse. Each sold separately, you can pretend.
She's lovely as a flower, but she has a secret power. A magic sword in one stroke, and she's got the strength of a tower. She wrote Princess of Power. The fate of the world's in the hands of one beautiful girl. Princess of Power.
She-Ra doll Princess of Power comes with everything you see here. Swiffer and horse sold separately, new from Mattel.
The demon chest. It was unlocking the 13 ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Be sure to watch the all-new Scooby-Doo this fall on ABC. You'll love it.
Friday at 8:30, 7:30 Central, join Tony Danza and Mary Lou Retton for the Saturday Sneak Peek and Fun Fit Test.
Schoolhouse rocking, a chip on the block, on your favorite schoolhouse rock.
My grandmother came from Russia, a satchel on her knee. My grandfather had his father's cap he brought from Italy. They'd heard about a country where life might let them win. They paid the fare to America, and there they melted in. A lovely lady Liberty, with her book of recipes, and the finest one she's got. The great American melting pot, the great American melting pot.
America was founded by the English,
but also by the Germans, Dutch, and French.
The principle still sticks, our heritage is mixed. So any kid could be the president.
You simply melt right in. It doesn't matter what your skin, it doesn't matter where you're from or your religion. You jump right into the great American melting pot. Great American melting pot. Ooh, what a stew, red, white, and blue. America was the new world, and Europe was the old. America was the land of hope, or so the legend told. On steamboats by the millions, in search of honest pay, those 19th century immigrants sailed to reach the USA. Lovely Lady Liberty, with her book of recipes, and the finest one she's got is the Great American Melting Pot, the Great American Melting Pot. What good ingredients, liberty, and immigrants? They brought the country's customs, their language, and their ways. They built the factories to the soil, helped build the USA. Go on and ask your grandma, hear what she has to tell. How great to be American and something else as well. Lovely Lady Liberty, with her book of recipes, and the finest one she's got is the Great American Melting Pot, 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 the Great American Melting Pot.
We'll return after these messages. ABC's Schoolhouse Rock is brought to you by McDonald's.
Ronald McDonald in Dreamy Breakfast.
It's a good time to see Ronald's dream.
Time for breakfast, Birdie.
Oh boy, hotcakes.
Hoppin' me cupcakes. After 'em, Birdie.
You betcha.
What? Gotcha.
Not you.
It's a good time. Ronald's dreams at an end. It's a good time. Breakfast fun with a friend. It's a good time for the great
A
taste
dream come true.
of McDonald's.
Stay tuned for more of The Super Friends next. This is ABC.
Goldilocks may not have known it, but she was really looking for the Four Bears Water Park in Utica, Michigan. She'd flip over the big 50-foot water slide, and so will you. And those exciting bumper boats, the Can-Am miniature race cars, the big 56-acre lake with nifty paddle boats, white sandy beaches, private picnic area, or if you prefer, the Honey Bear restaurant. The Four Bears Water Park, Auburn Road between Ryan and DeQuinder in Utica. 10 to 10 Sunday through Thursday, 10 to 11 Friday and Saturday. The Four Bears, the best water park afloat. Ask Goldilocks.
Made from the Jeffersons cleans up at a new address Monday night at 7:30 on 7.
We'll return after these messages.
Gleaming in the morning light, home of Shira shining bright, Crystal Castle.
You put it together, she was sold separately, you can pretend.
Magic things shine everywhere, cause it has a secret power. Lifted high on her throne, Shira saves the world alone. The fate of the world safe in Crystal Castle, Princess of Power.
Crystal Castle comes with everything you see here. Shira dolls sold separately, new from Mattel.
Ronald McDonald and the Curious Snowman. On a hot summer day, a snowman came out to play to find out what made summer fun.
It's skating along.
Without any ice?
It's playing ball.
And getting hot, that's not nice.
So Ronald made a magic place where snowmen could stay.
I wouldn't want my little friend to melt away. We'll visit you in winter, and then we can play.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Next Saturday morning, there's something brewing.
Chihuahua.
And it's turning up some big surprises.
Come on, there's no time to lose.
The Ewoks are coming. Then...
R2-D2, what are you doing? Oh, mad droid!
the news is out and everyone's excited. Droids are with us. And then something old and something new waiting just for you.
What?
It's the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. And the Littles are traveling around the world.
We're coming in for a landing.
Join them for exotic adventures. Next Saturday morning on ABC, it's the Ewoks and Droids, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, and the Littles.
You'll love
Welcome, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Happy Wednesday or hump day or whatever you're into. I hope everybody's having a good week and it's going smoothly. And, it's halfway over for you 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, folks. So, what I'm going to get into today, and I'm not going to get into it just yet. But first off, let me say I appreciate you guys being here. I know that everyone in the entire world and their mother and the bandwagon jumpers and the bandwagon jumpers' mothers are all covering the Suzanne Morphew thing, which we'll talk about just briefly because it only merits being talked about briefly. But we'll get into that in just a second. But just to give you guys a heads up, what I'm going to talk about, I am getting really, really into I'm doing a really deep dive. This morning, I was really focused on some of the statements that were made by some of the people who were in the House of 34 Fairview Road in regards to the John O'Keefe, Officer John O'Keefe murder. Because technically, I mean, whether Karen Reed is guilty or not, she is charged with murder, so they have classified it a murder. And now now if her defense is correct, then then John O'Keefe was murdered by his comrades, his colleagues. But I ended up I ended up reading some of the documents today, and I have questions. I have some questions, but before we get into that, let's. I did cover the Suzanne Morphew disappearance 3 years ago, so I will give you guys an update, and real quick, let me just go ahead and read the latest article on that. So, according to NBC News, the remains of Suzanne Morphew, a Colorado woman who disappeared in 2020 and whose husband had been charged in her death, Barry Morphew, were found last week, authorities said today. Morphew of Chaffee County disappeared in May of 2020. Her husband, Barry Morphew, had been criminally charged, but the case was dismissed in April 2022 at the request of prosecutors who said the search of her body was getting closer. Suzanne Morphew's remains were found during a search on Friday, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation said, and the El Paso County coroner positively identified them Wednesday. Officials have not released where exactly the remains were found, but said they were located during an unrelated search near Moffat in Saguache County. I think that's how you say that, Saguache County. Barry Morphew has repeatedly denied being involved in his wife's disappearance and what at the time was her presumed death. He was arrested in May 2021 and charged with first-degree murder and other counts. In April 2022, prosecutors moved to have the case dismissed without prejudice, meaning it could be refiled. Morphew, a mother of two, was reported missing from her home in Chaffee County on May 10th, 2022, authorities have said. There have been no arrests in the case since the remains were found, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation said in a statement on Wednesday, today. Although locating Suzanne's remains is a critical component of this investigation and for her family, we are left with many more questions than answers. Chaffee County Sheriff John Spees said in this statement. And Barry Morphew's attorney, Iris Eaton, did not immediately respond to a request for comment Wednesday evening. She has said that he is innocent. A voicemail left with the district attorney's office, which had charged Barry Morphew, was not immediately returned. Was not immediately returned Wednesday evening. Morphew filed a 15 million. This is where it gets interesting. This is where my wheels start turning, folks. Morphew filed a $15 million lawsuit in May against prosecutors and others, accusing investigators of having tunnel vision and suspecting only him. So now here's my prediction, folks. Now, I remember when they first charged Barry Morphew. I did not. This is how, this kind of an example for those of you who are new to the channel. If you know me for a long time, you know that I always go about these cases the same way. I keep an open mind. I wait for all the facts to present themselves before I form an opinion. When they charged him, I noticed something. I noticed during the press conference when the DA announced that they were charging Barry Morphew, she didn't sound very confident. She was extremely defensive towards the press when asked certain questions. Do you feel like you have enough evidence? That sort of thing. And she got very defensive. She had a defensive demeanor anyway. And I was like, ooh, that she does not sound confident. Because I was like, what evidence do they have? You know, I mean, there was some stuff that looked pretty damning. Like, I mean, my man voted for Trump twice and used her. And like, he got arrested and charged for voter fraud by using Suzanne's identity to vote for Trump a second time. Which I think is just hilarious. Because these Trump supporters, man, they love their Trump, man. And I'm not faulting anybody for that. I'm just saying this is just a fact. Trump supporters love their Donald Trump. They just do. And this just did not surprise me. And I thought it was pretty funny, but I didn't think necessarily it made him look like he was guilty of murdering Suzanne. It just meant that he was desperate for Donald Trump to be elected president. And I find that shit humorous. So I'm of the belief. Now, here's the thing. I have a prediction here, folks. Because it turned out prosecution did not have enough evidence. Barry Morphew can absolutely afford good attorneys. And they got the case dropped. Now, again, they could charge him again. They could refile the charges again. Now that they have Suzanne Morphew's body, which, keep in mind, folks, the most important thing about Suzanne Morphew's body being found today is that her family finally gets closure. And this has been 3 years in the making. 3 years. So, much love and respect to everyone out there who has been just worried out of their minds as to what happened to their loved one. But here's my prediction as far as this goes. Now that they found Suzanne Morphew's body, they're going to charge him again. But I'm going to predict that one of the reasons why they're going to charge him again, I don't think that even finding her body, unless they can place him in that area at around the time of her disappearance, unless they can place him in that area, again, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he is responsible for not only her murder, but for disposing of her body in that area. And keep in mind, folks, make no mistake, okay? They weren't even looking for Suzanne. They were looking for somebody else and happened to find Suzanne. So at this point, it's like they weren't even really looking for her. I feel that this $15 million lawsuit is quite the motivation to get them to charge him again. So they're going to charge him like this. I'm sure of it. regardless of what proof this comes up with, because just finding her body does not necessarily prove that Barry Morphew was responsible. It might, but as far as what we know so far, it does not. It just doesn't. So I'm certain, I am predicting that they are going to charge him again, regardless of what evidence they have. And the motivation is this $15 million lawsuit. Now, and I think he's going to beat it. That's my prediction. I think he's going to beat it. Now, it's just a guess. It's kind of like placing a bet on a sporting event. As much as I know, it's I'm not comparing the importance. What I'm saying is, as much as I know, I'm just taking a stab in the dark here. I'm shooting craps, and I'm thinking they're going to charge him, but they're going to fall short because what they had as far as evidence prior wasn't nearly enough. And I fear that 3 years of her remains in the elements is probably going to taint any evidence that he has that they would have to connect Barry to Suzanne's remains there where they found her. So the whole world out there right now on YouTube that's sitting here saying, oh, well, they got him. Don't count on it. Don't count on it. So I'm just saying. Now, do I think he's guilty? Personally, do I just have the opinion and feel like he's guilty? Yeah, but I don't think that they have enough evidence to convict him. I really don't. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, there's a lot of damning evidence. There's the behavior that he had, but this stuff is not evidence that he killed anybody. It proves possible motive. It doesn't prove absolute motive, just proves possible motive, that she was having an affair and she was sick and tired of him running around on her, and their marriage was just on the rocks. But a lot of people's marriages are on the rocks. A lot of people are having those same problems, and they're not going around murdering each other. So that doesn't necessarily prove that he's responsible. I feel that his defense is going to come through on him for him again. But we will see. We will see. But I'm not going to do an entire stream on the Suzanne Morphew news simply because there's no press conference. All we know is that she was found around 50 miles from where she was last seen, and that her they weren't even looking for her. They were looking for somebody else. So I'm not going to do an entire stream on that little bit of information. Now, when they do have a press conference, I will cover it. I may or may not do it live, but I will cover the press conference when they actually hold one. But I'm guessing by the reasons why they have identified, since they have identified her and announced it publicly, but are not holding a press conference, it's because they don't have anything. They just don't have anything. That's totally my guess. Now, something I like to do, if you guys are new to this channel, I like to fuck with tragedy pimps. I don't know how many are you familiar with Zav Girl, and I have a special place in my heart covering her because she disrespected little Gannon Stauk the way that she did. And I'm not even gonna really cover her, but I'm gonna pull her up live. Okay, I'm gonna pull her up live in just a moment, and I'm willing to bet that she's doing this right now. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Hold on. Wait for it. What I tell you, this is 100% live, folks. Oh my goodness. What? Huh? What? Huh? Hold on. Let's listen to her confusion just for a minute. We're just gonna. What?
Wait. I don't know.
Here.
I don't know who this is.
Hold
These
on.
texts are between. I wonder.
Let's just watch this for a minute because I always find it so much fun here. Let's get her. She's thinking, y'all.
Does anybody know what these texts are all about? Let me see. Natalie Jones, a Grant was last seen on July 4th and she drove away. I guess that might be about a different one. All right, let me look for
You just got a glimpse of what her live streams are. Always. Just so you know. Now I can't really talk shit because during this case that I'm covering, I'm going to be doing that a lot. You may have noticed me doing it yesterday simply because I'm just like, what the fuck? Because I'm making myself familiar as I'm covering this. So I can't really talk that much shit. But yeah, so now as we know, January 29th, 2022 is when John O'Keefe was found dead on the lawn of 34 or in the front of 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. And there are some I was reading some of the statements. Okay. And let me quickly give a big shout out, obviously, always to Cherry for the timeline that she prepared for me, as well as, but I have to also give a shout out to Sleuthy Goosey, as known on Twitter, who was very helpful in providing me with documents and information that is helping me understand this case a lot better too. So let me see if I can pull some of this stuff up. Give me 1 second. Hold on, let me Zav girl this shit here real quick. Okay. All right. So here is I'm going to go over real quick, the interview with Matthew McCabe. Okay. Now, yeah, this is, hold on. Okay. Now, Matthew McCabe, see, I have like a little cheat sheet here too. Matt McCabe is, his nickname is Double D's. And this is Jen McCabe's husband. Okay. Who were at the, this will explain it. But he is Jen McCabe's husband. And, Dude, it doesn't matter if it's fucking redacted. Everybody knows who these people are. Now, let me just here, hold on. Just in case, everything that's showing right now is already very public knowledge. So hold on. Let me just go ahead. Now I'll read this and then I'll show it. But just so you know, I'm reading. At least you guys know I'm reading from the actual document, okay? Which is this is addressed to. This was filed April 7th, 2022. And Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, it's addressed to, and this was written by and conducted by Trooper Michael Proctor. And this is the interview of Matthew McCabe. And it says here on January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call for a male party John O'Keefe discovered unresponsive outside of 34 Fairview Road. Fire and EMS responded to the scene. Canton Fire and EMS were dispatched to 34 Fairview Road for an unresponsive male discovered outside in the snow, and CPR was in progress. Canton EMS transported the victim to Good Samaritan Hospital, where he was determined to be deceased. At the Waterfall Bar on Friday night, January 28th, and at 34 Fairview Road was Matthew McCabe. Sergeant Buchnick and I arrived at Matthew's residence on January 29th and agreed to speak with investigators. It says here that Matthew has known John for approximately 8 years and met Karen Reed a handful of times. Now, most of them, this is something that's that everyone seems to have in common here. Everyone seems to, at most, have met Karen Reed a handful of times, at most. It goes on to say he did not know any of the medical issues. Now, I apologize, folks. I can't really see chat right now. But I will be glancing at my phone once in a while at the chat. But I do apologize if I miss anything that's too important, such as Cherry yelling at me to look and check DMs. So it goes on to say he did not know any of them. Know of any medical issues John may have had. Matthew and his wife, Jennifer, arrived at the Waterfall. Jennifer, that's Jennifer, not Jessica, arrived at the, just messing with you, Cherry, arrived at the Waterfall Bar at approximately 9 p.m. on Friday, January 28th. Matthew stated they went to the bar to have some drinks and food with friends. Matthew stated John and Karen entered the Waterfall Bar by themselves, and John was wearing a baseball hat with a curved visor. Matthew did not observe any arguing amongst John and Karen or with anyone else inside the bar. Matthew stated Karen was consuming a clear liquid he believed to be a vodka drink. As the night was winding down, Matthew went over to speak with the band as everyone in the bar was leaving. So Matthew was like, "Hey, I know it's last call, but I gotta hear Violent Femmes. I gotta hear Blister in the Sun, dude. Come on. I gotta dance like this. You get everybody dance like this. Come on, man. I just gotta hear it one time." All right. So Matthew and Karen was consuming clear liquid he believed to be a vodka drink. As the night was winding down, Matthew went over to speak with the band as everyone in the bar was leaving. Matthew stated John and Karen left before him, and the only people left inside of the bar were the 4 band members and himself. Matthew left and got into his vehicle where Jennifer was waiting for him and heard her call John to invite him to Brian's house. Okay. While at 34 Fairview Road, Matthew stated he observed a big dark SUV parked to the right of the house. Matthew stated, I think it says stated, he was making these observations from the front door. It's a typo. Matthew stated he looked out the front window and observed the same big dark SUV had moved to the other side of the property, approximately 15 to 20 feet. Matthew was not sure how long the vehicle was outside, but did not hear any loud noises or screaming from inside. Matthew stated both times he observed the vehicle on the street. The headlights were facing towards Chapman. St. Matthew stated sorry. Can't believe that. Chapman Street. Matthew stated he observed the tire tracks in the snow on the street in front of the house. Matthew described the pattern as a wave or V shape. Matthew stated, Matthew observed the tracks of snow on the street in the front of the house. Matthew described the pattern as a wave or V shape. Matthew stated the tire tracks went from the curb in front of 34 Fairview towards the neighbor across the street and then back towards the curb. The pattern of the tracks were consistent with making a 3-point turn. That's exactly what I was thinking. Matthew stated he did not see these tracks prior to the big black SUV arriving outside of the house. Okay. Now, not much there, right? But let's see real quick. So, here's Jennifer McCabe's interview. Now, Jennifer McCabe is the sister of Nicole Albert, I believe her name is. Guys, I'm really bad with names, and I'm still learning all the cast of characters here, so please bear with me. So Jennifer McCabe is the sister of the owner of the house, basically the co-owner of the house. You have Jennifer McCabe, and then you have Matt McCabe, and you have Nicole Albert, and her husband's name escapes me because there's so many of those fucking Albert dudes. Give me 1 second here. Brian Albert, my bad. So Brian Albert. And they were out celebrating Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, as I understand it. So this is Jennifer McCabe, Nicole Albert's sister, who was in contact directly with John O'Keefe, who she was inviting and giving directions to via text message to the house after the waterfall and whatever. So says on February 1st, 2022, I, along with Trooper Connor Keefe, went to 12 County Lane in Canton to speak with Jennifer McCabe concerning the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe on January 29, 2022. The following is a summary of what Miss McCabe told us. Isn't she Mrs. McCabe, though? Miss McCabe stated that on Friday, January 28, 2022, she and her husband, Matt McCabe, had been at the waterfall in Canton. Jen said that John and Karen came into the waterfall around 11 p.m. Jen said that she knows John O'Keefe because her daughter and John O'Keefe's niece, Kaylee, are friends. She said that she had come to know Karen through John because the two were dating. Jen said that John had encouraged Jen and Karen to come or to become friendly because Jen has multiple sclerosis, and Karen had also been diagnosed with MS. John and Karen had been at C.F. McCarthy's before they came into the waterfall. Jen noticed that Karen had a mixed drink in a clear glass in her hand that she had brought over from C.F. McCarthy's. At the end of the evening, Jen said that she and her husband were planning to go to her sister's house because it was her nephew, Brian Jr.'s birthday. Jen said that she asked Karen and John if they wanted to come along, and they said that they would. The Alberts live at 34 Fairview Road. Jen said that John had texted her at 12:14 a.m. to get the address. Jen said that she spoke with John on the phone to explain where the house is. She said that she remembers providing him with directions, specifically telling him to drive past Bella's house on the right. Jen said that John would know where Bella lives, as she is a friend of Kaylee. Jen said that while she was at the house, someone said that there was a car outside. Jen looked out the front door of the house and saw the car. She assumed it was John and Karen. She said that she did not notice what kind of car it was. John said that she is not good at identifying cars and was not able to provide a description of the car. She noticed that the vehicle was facing in the opposite direction of how it would have been if they had followed the directions provided earlier. Jen then texted John at 12:21 a.m., quote unquote, here, as in, are you here? She texted John again at 12:31 a.m. and told him to pull behind her vehicle. She looked out the window a little while later and noticed that the car was further away from the house, closer to the neighbor. At 12:40 a.m., she texted again and said, "Hello, where are you?" There was no response from John. Jen said that her phone shows a call from her phone to John around that time, but she thinks that she dialed him by accident when she was putting her phone in and out of her pants pocket. So a butt dial. The next time that she looked out the window, the car was gone. She did not think anything of it and thought that they had just decided not to come in. Jen said that she and her husband were at the house from around 11:45 a.m. to about 1:30 a.m. She said that she and her husband drove to her nephew's friend's home and then they went home. The following morning, Jen got a call from Kaylee, John's niece. Kaylee said, home. Karen told Jen that she left him at the waterfall. Jen thought that perhaps he was with a friend. Jen said that she checked with Julie Albert to see if he had gone to their house. Jen explained to Karen that she did not leave him at the waterfall because they were outside Jen McCabe's sister's house after the waterfall. Karen then told Jen that when she got home, John was not with her. Jen began to think of other friends that John might have ended up going to, such as Tom Beatty, but he was not there either. Karen was telling Jen that Karen, had not planned to stay at John's house that night and that John would not have stayed out all night, leaving Kaylee home alone overnight. At some point while they were talking on the phone, Karen got into the car and started driving. Jen said that Karen was hysterical screaming. Karen drove to Jen's house. Jen said that when Karen showed up to her house around 5:30 a.m., she went outside and started to drive Karen's car to John's house. She said that they got to John's house around 5:45 a.m., shortly after Carrie arrived. They looked in John's house to make sure he was not there. Karen was saying things like, "Could I have hit him? Look at the crack in my taillight. There is a crack in it." Jen said that she did notice damage to the taillight. Jen said that Karen was so hysterical and was saying so many things that Jen did not think that Karen actually hit him. Karen was also saying things about him possibly being with old girlfriends. Oh, the shade. Oh, the shade. Jen said, now this stuff is really interesting because there's other accounts here that I read earlier. Okay. The timeline here between the accounts that I'm going to read simply don't add up. Okay. Unless I'm missing something, because I'm reading this and it's saying that right here, it's saying that that Jen said that Karen showed up at her house around 5:30 a.m. Now, they were looking for John still at this point. Nobody found John dead yet, right? At 5:45 or 5:30 a.m., she went outside, started to drive Karen's car to John's house because they're still looking for John. She said that they got to John's house around 5:45 a.m. Shortly after Carrie arrived, they looked in John's house to make sure he was not there. So they haven't found him on the property yet at 34 Fairview. They just left there. They had just left there at 5:30 a.m. with Jen driving Karen's car, right? I mean, Jen said that when Karen showed up at her house around 5:30 a.m., she went outside and started to drive Karen's car to John's home. 5:30 a.m. She said that they got to John's house around 5:45 a.m., shortly after Carrie arrived. They looked in John's house to make sure he was not there. The three decided to all go into one vehicle to look for him. They took Carrie's car. Jen said that Karen was saying things like, "Could I have hit him? Look at the crack in my taillight. There's a crack in it." This is also very interesting, folks. This is also very interesting. Wait till I get to somebody else's account regarding the crack in the taillight. They took Carrie's car. Jen said that Karen was saying things like, "Could I have hit him? Look at the crack in my taillight. There's a crack in it." Jen said that she did notice damage to the taillight. Jen said that Karen was so hysterical and saying so many things that Jen did not think that Karen actually hit him. Karen was also saying things about him possibly being with old friends. Okay. Now let's talk about that. Jen saying that she did not honestly believe that she actually hit John. Now, I believe that. I believe that to some degree. Because I mean, to some degree. I'm not saying that I believe it. I'm saying that it's somewhat believable. Let me word it better. It's somewhat believable because all there is a crack in the taillight, right? Now, if she hit him with the car, with the kind of damage that he had, there could have been some sort of blood on there or, you know, whatever else, whatever hair they might have found or whatever. But the thing is, it's still it's still like 5:30 in the morning. It's 5:45 in the morning. So sun's not even up yet. Can't really see, you know, it's snowing. There's a blizzard. And Karen's car has a collision avoidance system. Okay. She must have think she hit something. She was clearly drunk. I mean, and what's funny is every account that I read, they all say that she didn't appear drunk when she left the bar, or was the last place she was drinking. So she didn't appear drunk. So, I mean, how drunk was she? I mean, if she can compose herself at the bar, couldn't she be aware enough? I mean, because I realize, like, there's driving beyond the legal limit and still knowing what you're doing. And then there's being so fucking inebriated that you're swerving all over the road. You don't even know what the fuck's going on around you. You know what I mean? So, but they're basically saying that she didn't seem like she was drunk. Everyone who I'm going to read their accounts here say that she didn't seem like she was drunk. So then it goes on to say, Jen said that they possibly got to the road around 5:53 a.m. to go look for John. Okay, so here it's almost 6 a.m. and they're still looking for John. Carrie was driving. Okay, Carrie was in the back and Jen was in the passenger seat. Okay, so you got Carrie driving, you've got Jen in the passenger seat, you got Karen in the back. They pulled down to Fairview from Chapman Street. Jen said that as they were approaching the 34 Fairview house, Karen said, "Pull the fucking car over. There he is." Jen said that she did not notice him, but Karen did. Carrie stopped in the middle of the road and Karen jumped out of the car and went to him. Jen said that John was in the area where she had last seen the vehicle night prior. Jen said that he was on the lawn. There was coating of about 6 inches of snow on him. Okay, now that is pretty damning for Karen because that would indicate, that would at least not necessarily indicate, but implies that she already knew where he was because nobody else could see him and he's under 6 inches of snow. 6 inches is a good, so maybe a foot sticking up, something like that. I don't know. Karen threw herself on top of him. He was lying on his back and his phone was on the ground underneath him. Jen said that she called 911. They attempted CPR and then the ambulance and police arrived. Jen said that Karen was very hysterical. She was asking people if she had hit him. Karen, okay, right there it says she was asking people if she had hit him. So right there, remember what I read yesterday? All right? Remember what I read yesterday. There's the whole account that I hit him. And then it's like she could have said that in the form of a question. This indicates that Jen took it as though she was asking whether or not she hit him. Asking. She was asking people if she had hit him. Karen was told to sit in a car. Jen went over to Karen when she was in the car. Jen observed Karen to have blood on her hands and face. Karen was holding her hands up and saying, "I have my period." Jen said that she told Karen that was not her blood, that it was John's blood from them doing CPR. Jen also stated that while her and Karen were in the back of the car, Karen was yelling and screaming one moment and then completely calm the next. Okay? Jen said that they prayed the Our Father together. Karen then immediately yelled at Jen 2 times to Google, "How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia?" Jen was unaware if Karen, was brought from the scene by ambulance to hospital. Fascinating. So this is Jen. If you believe the defense and you believe Karen Reed, then if you're one of these people, then you are assuming that this is Jen trying to cover up her Google search, which the defense thinks is evidence that something happened in that house. And it's not crazy to think that would be the case since her husband's a cop. Everybody that she knows are cops. And they know this stuff. But as I understand it, Karen denies that ever happening. But if Karen is so inebriated and Karen is absolutely hysterical, her credibility is going to be a problem in the courtroom when this comes up. That I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. And the prosecution seems to have, based on what I saw on Court TV, a pretty convincing explanation as to why the timestamp comes up different than what the statement says. Jen was unsure if Karen was brought from the scene by ambulance to the hospital. Jen was asked, what about Karen and John were... Okay, Jen was asked about... Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Jen was asked about what Karen and John were like when they were at the water club, at the waterfall club. She said that she did not notice them fighting. She has known them to be together as a couple for about 2 years, and to her knowledge, they loved each other. She said that she did not think that there are any issues between them. Jen said that the only thing that she could think of is once Karen made a comment that if there were not any kids, they wouldn't have anything to fight over. Oh, man. The shade, bro. The shade. Okay. Jen told Karen that was very normal. Jen was asked about their level of intoxication, and she said that they were both drinking but did not appear to be drunk. There's that. Oh, no, she seemed fine to me. No. Because you can just picture that, right? You can just picture that, No. I mean, she seemed fine. No, they didn't seem to have any problems. They didn't seem to have any problems at all. Like, they seemed happy, like a happy couple. But she did say, however, if there weren't kids in the picture, I'm just saying, they seemed happy, but there was that comment. I mean, just the way that slipped in there seems shady, dude. I'm sorry. It just does. Like, it seems like she's just throwing some shade at Karen there. Like, why is that in there? Why is that in there? Yeah, that's what it's going to boil down to, Melissa Bell. Because the prosecution's going to have their expert that explains this, but the defense is going to have their expert too. So it's going to boil down simply to which one the jury believes. That's it. That's what it's going to boil down to. So now let me move on here. Now let's move on to Nicole Albert. Okay. This one I find extremely interesting. Now remember, as I read this, okay? Remember as I read this, the times from Jen's accounts, okay? Jen's account is saying that they were out looking. They were out looking until 6 a.m. almost for John. They went to his house, looked in the window, see if he was there. Yeah, Shadow caught. Yeah, I already went over that at the beginning of the stream. Thank you, though. Now this is Nicole Albert. She's the co-owner of 34 Fairview Road and the husband of Matt Albert. Or no, not Matt. No, sorry, I'm getting the names wrong. Brian Albert. Sorry. So on February 3rd, 2022, at approximately 5:20 p.m., Trooper Proctor and I traveled to 34 Fairview Road, Canton, for a pre-scheduled interview with Nicole Albert at her residence. Though our investigation into the through our investigation into the death of John O'Keefe, Nicole had been identified as a witness present with the group of friends at Waterfall Bar and Grill on January 28th, 2022. Nicole is also the resident with her husband, Brian, who invited some friends and family back to 34 Fairview Road in Canton following the bar closing for the night and was a witness to events inside the home. The following is a summary of information requested and provided by Nicole during that interview with Trooper Proctor and me. Sorry, let me refresh my coffee here real quick. After being invited into the home by Nicole and her husband, Brian, Trooper Proctor and I formally introduced ourselves and thanked the both of them for their time. Why is this one so formal? Like, I find that kind of weird. Why is this particular one so formal? I just, they invited us in. We were so thankful that they let us into their home, and they served us coffee and coffee cake, and we had our choice of different muffins and you know, it was just real pleasant, and I complimented her on her flatware. Like, what is this shit? So it goes on to say, Nicole began by saying that she does not know Karen and had never met her prior to the 28th of January. She had met John O'Keefe once or twice out in a social setting. Nicole shared that she was aware that John had recently moved near her sister's home and only know him as Kaylee's uncle. On the night of January 28th, Nicole stated that she met her sister Julie, daughter Tristan, and her boyfriend out at dinner at approximately 7:30 p.m. at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. At approximately 9 p.m., Jen and Matt McCabe met Nicole and Julie at the bar, and then at approximately 10 p.m., Brian came out after his return from New York City. At approximately 11 p.m., Nicole remembered that John and Karen came into the bar and were positioned on the opposite end of the high top table the group was occupying. Nicole recalled John coming over once and asking if they wanted anything from the bar. Nicole stated that John was wearing jeans, sneakers, and a hat. At approximately midnight, Nicole stated that she left the waterfall and was met at her home by her sister, Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe, brother-in-law Matt McCabe, and husband Brian. Nicole went on to say that all the guests left her home an hour later and at approximately 1 a.m. on the 29th of January. Later on during the morning hours of January 29th, 2022, Nicole stated that she was still in bed when her sister Jen came into the room and shared with Nicole what transpired outside and that John was found deceased. Okay. Why is there no specific time here? But I find something really weird about this. Okay, first of all, so later on during the morning hours, why no specific time? Right? But here, this goes on to get a little stranger. They're leaving out a specific time as to when Jen came into Nicole's bedroom. The owner of the house, okay? The owner of the house. Jen came into Nicole's bedroom, who was still in bed, and then she tells Nicole what had transpired outside and that John was found deceased on the edge of her property by the street and in the snow. Now, by the time Jen knew this, it was already past 6 a.m. It had to have been. It had to been on, or I mean, it had to have been past 6 a.m. I mean, we're talking about the fire trucks came, the cops came, and they took John away. This is after they found John in the snow, and Karen tried to perform CPR, was hysterical. There was this big to-do, and then the fire truck showed up, EMTs showed up, and then they took him to the hospital. All this commotion. We're talking sirens. We're talking people standing outside. We're talking people talking loud. We're talking all kinds of commotion. Anybody who has ever even seen the scene of an accident, even if you've didn't even hear the accident, you've seen the scene of an accident, and there's a shit ton of commotion. There's a shit ton of activity outside, right? Okay. So think about that for a second. Jen went, after all of this, went into her sister's bedroom, who owns the house, to tell her what happened in front of her own house. Right there on her fucking front lawn. Right? John was found deceased on the edge of her property by the street in the snow. Nicole stated that she never left her home, and by the time she came downstairs, Canton Fire Department must have transported both John and Karen from the scene. So everybody's gone. The whole scene is clear already when Nicole gets out of bed. Wait, what's going on? According to Nicole, there were no fights, arguments, or altercation of any time during the night between anyone present at Waterfall or her home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Nicole stated that everything was fine and she remembered John talking to her sister Jen at the bar. Nicole did not observe any injuries on John while he was present at the bar. Nicole shared that her and Brian walked out of the Waterfall prior to John and Karen, and that the two were still at the bar at the time. When asked about the utility box at the edge of her property near the flagpole where John was found, Nicole stated that it had been open and slightly damaged for a long time prior to January 28th, 2022. Now, she's not a cop. She's the wife of a cop. But let's do this for a second, folks. Let me do a little something here. Okay. Now, this is the house, right? This is the house. First of all, that's a real nice house in the Boston area on a cop's salary. Let me just point that out. Tell me it's not. That's a real nice house on a cop's salary in Boston, in the suburbs of Boston, the suburban area of Boston. Okay? Now, I don't think there's a way to blow this up, but I mean, that's real nice inside. Look at that. I mean, these people are not hating life, bro. You know what I mean? So now that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything, but it starts to make my wheels turn as far as coming up with theories. It just does. Now, you look at that house and it's well kept, right? You're going to tell me that a cop who's out there, I'm going to assume that the wife is the one who handles most of the maintaining of the house. This is her baby. This is her pride and joy. This home is the home that Nicole Albert loves. Right? That's her name, right? Nicole? I'm getting that right. Just making sure. Yeah. This is the home that, okay, I'm sure it's a gardener. I'm not saying she's out there with a lawnmower. I would put money on the fact that she's not putting money on a lawnmower. But I promise you she knows everything that's fucking going on in that house. You're going to tell me she slept through all that fucking commotion? I call bullshit. Sorry, I call bullshit. I don't care how drunk she was. And you're going to tell me that her sister didn't run up there and wake her up and go, hey, John's dead in your lawn. She just fucking rolled up in there and was like, hey, you know what? You wouldn't believe what happened. I didn't want to wake you up, because you look so cute sleeping. But John died on your lawn. I guess Karen must have hit him with the car, but Yeah. You think, I mean, you're going to tell me that's what fucking happened? People this close? Sorry. Sorry. I'm just not buying that. I'm just not buying it. Now, I'm not saying Karen didn't hit him with the car. I'm saying somebody's fucking lying. That's what I'm saying. Somebody's fucking lying. There's no fucking way you are going to convince me that A, Nicole didn't know what the hell was happening on her own property, on her pride and joy. You're not going to tell me that she didn't know what was going on her property, at her pride and joy, her home, her nest, when there's fucking fire trucks and ambulances and all kinds of people there, friends of hers, family, and nobody thought to wake her up and go, hey, dude, you should be here. Like, these people are all over your property. You need to know what's going on. Makes no sense. Sorry, that dog don't hunt. So, goes on to say, directing her, or in conclusion, it says, directing her attention to her home following the waterfall. Nicole stated that she did not hear any arguments, noises coming from the outside of her home. Why would she hear that if she didn't even fucking hear fire trucks and EMTs and cops, and a bunch of people on her lawn, and not to mention Karen yelling hysterically on her front lawn. Okay. Nicole went on to say that she was not even aware that her sister Jen had even invited John and Karen to the house following the waterfall. Without having any additional information to share with Trooper Proctor and me, we thanked Nicole for her time and concluded the interview. I mean, this trooper, I mean, he was making it a real point to say we were so nice to Nicole. Just for the record, we were really nice to Nicole, and she was really nice to us when we got there. Dude, this shit stinks. I could see why everybody's in an uproar about it. That shit fucking reeks, dude. Sorry, but it does. Now, it's not proof, but it fucking reeks. Smells like a big pile of shit, dude. Seriously. So, yeah. Now, this next interview that let me see real quick. Who's the next one I'm going to read? Nicole Albert. And then, okay, yeah, this is the next one I really wanted to read. Now, this is Ryan Nagel, okay? I think that's how you say his last name, Ryan Nagel. Now, Ryan Nagel was asked by his sister to be picked up from the house who was there. Strange, my ass. That's the understatement of the year. That is utter bullshit. There's too much about that makes it bullshit. Strange, please. So Ryan Nagel, it says on January 29th, 2022 at approximately 6:04 a.m., Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, John O'Keefe, found in the snow at 34 Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was heavy snow and the temperature was in the teens. Officers Sarah Seraph and Mulaney were dispatched to the scene along with Canton Fire and EMS. Okay, we're talking cops, we're talking fire department, we're talking EMS. Guy lying in the snow, could be alive. There are sirens. I guarantee you there are fucking sirens, and fire sirens are loud as shit. Officer Saraf arrived on the scene and observed 3 females waving at him. Looking at 34 Fairview from the roadway, the 3 females were in the left corner of the property. Officer Saraf observed the victim lying on the ground as 2 of the females were performing CPR. The 3... Now, why does this have anything to do with? The 3 females on scene were identified by Canton PD and Karen Reed, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts. Additionally, a male party was identified as being in the area the night prior, possibly, could have witnessed the victim arriving in the area of 34 Fairview. Now, this is also very interesting. The said male was identified as Ryan Nagel, who was contacted by his sister, Julie Nagel, asking for a ride home. So Julie is there at this after party in the house, celebrating Brian Jr.'s birthday. Okay. While visiting with her friend Brian Albert at 34 Fairview, Ryan came into the Norfolk District Attorney's office for a pre-scheduled interview on Monday, February 7th, 2022 at 2:35 p.m. The following is a summary of information requested and provided by Ryan during that interview with Trooper Proctor and me. Ryan confirmed that he was contacted by Julie requesting a ride home. At the time, Ryan was with his friend Richie D something, irrelevant, who was driving his gray in-color Ford F-150 pickup with Ryan seated in the front passenger seat and Ryan's girlfriend Heather in the back compartment, in the back passenger compartment. Ryan recalls, now if you know what Ford F-150 looks like, it's a pretty big truck and it's usually a 4-door. Sometimes it's not, but there's usually a very small space for 2 back seats in the cab of the truck. Now, so it's Ryan's truck, but his buddy is driving and Ryan's girlfriend is in the back. And so Ryan recalls Richie driving down Cedar Crest Road from the direction of the Kennedy Elementary School. As the F-150 approached Fairview, Ryan remembers seeing a set of headlights of a mid-sized black SUV coming from the opposite direction on Cedar Crest. Subsequently, Richie yielded to the vehicle, allowing it to make the right turn onto Fairview, and he's making the left. So he's making the left, and Karen's making the right. So he's yielding for her, letting her go in front. But they're going to the same place, right? Incredibly coincidental that that's happening, but not suspicious at all. And I'm not being sarcastic. It's just a hell of a coincidence that this happens because it's incredibly important what this guy's account is, according the way that I'm taking it here. So, Fairview then followed making a left-hand turn onto Fairview. Ryan told us that Richie stopped the F-150 directly in front of the driveway belonging to 34 Fairview and remembers the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curb towards the left side of the property as you look at the home from the street. When asked, Ryan stated he did not observe any erratic operation by the SUV as it turned from Cedar Crest onto Fairview or any point while in his presence. Ryan went on to say that their F-150 remained in front of the home for a period of time that was no longer than 5 minutes, at which time his sister Julie came out of the home and asked if the 3 of them would like to come inside. Now remember, 15 minutes, no more than, 5 minutes. Period of time that was no longer than 5 minutes. Okay. Ryan refused the invite, and Julie stated that she wanted to stay a while longer and would most likely spend the night at 34 Fairview. So basically, Julie's like, hey, come down here and pick me up. And then she's like, you guys want to come in? Well, fuck you. Then I'm going to stay the night. And you guys came down here for fucking nothing. Real considerate. But besides the point, Julie stated that she wanted to stay a while longer and would most likely stay the night. Upon conclusion of their conversation, Julie retreated back inside the home, and Ryan noticed that the SUV pulled up a few feet to the far edge of the property line between 34 and the neighboring property, where the flagpole was located along with some bushes. Ryan stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle into park, as the rear brake lights were illuminated to include the third top center light at the initial positioning and after it had pulled up. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Okay. Ryan stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle into park, as the rear brake lights were illuminated to include the third top center light at the initial positioning and after it had pulled up. So she sat there with her foot on the brake. Karen, according to Ryan, sat there with her foot on the brake and he could see all the lights. Okay? This is very important. Pay attention. Now, Trooper Proctor asked Ryan if at any point he heard screams, yelling, or any noise coming from the black SUV while he was on Fairview, to which he stated no. Ryan added that as Richie pulled away from the 34 Fairview Road, their F-150 drove past the black SUV, at which time Ryan observed the interior light on and a Caucasian female operator sitting inside the vehicle holding the steering wheel at the 10 and 2 looking straight ahead of her. Ryan told us that he did not see anyone else inside the passenger compartment during his brief observations of the SUV as they drove by it. Ryan did not see the SUV leave and did not note any damage to the vehicle as he remembers. Okay? This is extremely important, people. Keep listening. When asked, Ryan stated that it had just started snowing approximately a half hour prior, and there was coating of snow on the ground. While present in the area of Cedar Crest and Fairview, Ryan did not see any other vehicles operating besides the F-150 and the black SUV, without having anything further to provide about the evening. Trooper Proctor and I concluded our interview with Brian. Now listen up, folks. Okay, this is something else that troubles me beyond trouble. Okay, because remember, he saw the back of that car and all of its lights, all of its red lights illuminated. Okay, that would include the tail light. He also stated that he did not see any damage to the car at all, but he could see all of the lights illuminated, right? And he also said that he did not see John in the car with her. He saw that she was alone in the SUV. He saw that her light was inside the car was on when they drove by her. So they drove right past her, was able to look inside the car, see that she was alone in the SUV. Okay? This is very important because according to the prosecution, then what happened was John was he had either gone inside to the house or he had gotten hit, right? If he was either in the car or not, right? And the place where he's claiming where what they're trying to say is she moved the car, he got out of the car, he moved out of the one side of the house, hit him, and then ended up parked on the other side of the house, right? So if he's not in the car, okay, stay with me here. If he's not in the car and she's on that side of the house, then, and there's no damage to the tail light, and he could see all the tail lights because they're all illuminated, then when did she hit him? And where was he? If he wasn't in the car, he had to have been inside that house. There's no other fucking way. If he was not in the car, he had to have been inside that house. Or she didn't break a taillight when she hit him and ran him over. Think about it. He had to have been inside that house. People, this shit stinks. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, I can see why everyone is in such an uproar at this point. And I'm just scratching the surface. I'm just now seeing the bullshit. Just now. This whole time I've been like, wait, let me see. Wait. And all I've done is read the accounts of the people who are witnesses. All I've read are the accounts of the wives and the dude who was just going to pick up his sister. That's all I've done so far. I've barely even looked into this case. You better fucking believe I'm looking into it deeper. Woo-hoo! Because, again, I'm going to sum it up for you. I'm going to sum up for you one more time why I think that these people are absolutely full of shit. Besides everything that I just laid out, as far as the truck not having any damage when Ryan saw it, and John not being in the SUV when he saw the truck with no damage, that tells me he was in the house. And B, how in the hell did Nicole Albert sleep through all of that commotion going on in front of her house at 6 a.m? I don't care how drunk you are. You're going to tell me that Jen McCabe, her sister, didn't go and wake her up. Instead, she waited till everyone left to go wake her up and go, hey, you wouldn't believe what just happened. Sorry to wake you, though. You wouldn't believe what just happened. John died in your lawn. John died on your property. John died on your property and you slept through it. You missed it. It was so exciting. No fucking way. Busybody Jen McCabe is going to go and say, hey, wake up. Listen, I just had to call 911. But I don't even believe that. That's me giving the benefit of the doubt that Nicole slept through that shit. I don't believe she slept through that shit. There's no fucking way Nicole slept through that shit. There's no way that the person who owns that property and cares for that property while her husband is out working and busting his ass as a cop all goddamn day, this person who this home is her baby, this home afforded under a cop salary in Boston, but suburban Boston, please, no. Anyway, whatever, maybe, who knows? Maybe he came into family money. I don't know. Whatever, but that's not the house of somebody who fucking lives under a cop salary in fucking suburban Boston. No fucking way. It's too nice. I just don't buy it. Yeah. Dude, and you're going to tell me Nicole didn't wake up? I mean, there's no way that she's not going to be aware of what's going on her property, on that property that's her baby to care for. There's no fucking way to me. I just don't buy it, bro. This whole thing fucking stinks. Okay, I'll bite. I'll bite. Let's what is that? Govsalaries.com? All right. So who am I looking up? Brian Albert. Police sergeant. 2018. When did he buy the house? What year did he buy the house? Does anybody know what year he bought the house? No, I already got it. What year did he buy the house? Does anybody know? I mean, I'm saying it's possible, but unlikely, dude. You know what I mean? Now, his wife might be bringing in an income too. You know what I mean? Like, but I wouldn't even be thinking this if I wasn't getting so much bullshit from these people. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be questioning it. Like, this is one of those things that I could just be like, oh, well, you know, okay, he made it. You know, okay, it was his parents' house. See, that makes more sense. That makes perfect sense. So, I mean, yeah, the house is probably paid for, and yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, so forget I even brought that up. I mean, but hold on. How's he making, dude? I should have been a fucking cop. Panda. What's up, panda lady? I should have been a fucking cop. Dude, it says here he made $244,000 in 2020. 2022. He made as a police sergeant, as a detective, as a police sergeant, City of Boston, $244,665. How? How? I should have been a fucking cop. Yeah, okay. Team Brittany's saying, but a sandwich costs $39 there. And there's, I mean, does it really cost $39 or are you just exaggerating? You know what I mean? Like $39 for a sandwich? I don't think so. I mean, I could see like, you know, $19 for a sandwich and being like, what the fuck? Oh shit. Hold on, y'all.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you, buddy. Yes, I love my panda. Thank you. We all love panda. Thanks, buddy. I mean, so I know there's people in here that I know in the chat that live in London where shit is fucking stupid expensive. I mean, it can't be, the cost of living in Boston cannot be more than what it is in London, and it can't be more than what it is in New York. I'm sorry. And I know there's people in my chat from New York as well. So yeah, it just, I mean, this is a pretty silly, like, I mean, it's his parents' house, so who fucking knows? I'm not going to judge the guy for living in his parents' house and his parents fucking handed it down to him. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? But I'm curious as to what he was doing in New York that night, because I am absolutely convinced at this point that John was inside that house. I am absolutely convinced at this point that John was inside that house. And when I asked whether or not, besides the points that I just made, when I asked, remember, I was like, I wonder what the context was. People are saying that it was some sort of admission. Karen was saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. But according to Jen McCabe, she was asking whether or not she hit him. And I was asking what the context was when people were saying, when people were hearing her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. But Jen McCabe says straight up, dude, I'm 100% convinced that John was in that house. And then it just gets my mind going. Because this is what it is. I'm telling you right now, I've seen too many fucking movies. I've seen too many movies. Like the movie A Place Beyond the Pines comes to mind, where there's just a group of dirty ass cops, and then they tried to bring somebody in on it, and then they were afraid he was going to talk, right? And then a movie called Copland comes to mind, same fucking situation. And you know what's really funny is Place Beyond the Pines, I think, takes place in Massachusetts. I think it takes place in Boston. Go figure. Oh my goodness, Corvette Sally, no!
I think we got a super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. Superman. Super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Corvette Sally, thank you. Let's do it again, Will. Lots of love. There you go. And it's going to happen again. No.
I think we got a super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. Superman. Super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat.
We're doing it again, bro. Thank you, Genie 2521. You're a really funny guy, and I appreciate your channel. I'm glad you do. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Really? Again?
I think we got a super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. Superman. Super cat. Superman. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Carla, thank you so much. Where's the videos? No dash cam, body cam. I was run over by a Mustang riding on the hood and fell off, drug down the road 25 feet. Jesus Christ. And then she ran over me again. Oh my God. I had road rash and no broke bones. God, I can't believe you didn't have any broke bones. I fell off a car. Wasn't even going that fast. Broke my collarbone. His injuries are sus. Totally sus. Yeah, totally sus. I agree with that too. Yeah. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that the prosecution is not letting anyone see? That's what I don't understand. All right. Turtle Boy, welcome, homie. Yeah, you've been the talk of this channel for a couple days now. But this is a milestone moment because I have not been convinced of anything just yet. I didn't doubt anything. I kind of doubt everything until I like really look into it. But I am absolutely 150% convinced that John O'Keefe was inside that house. Just by the statements, just by the bullshit inconsistencies in the timeline. There was another statement that I read that earlier today that I didn't read today that I found interesting. Let me see which one that is. Is it the Chris and Julie Albert one? There was an inconsistency in the time that really bothered me. There it is. Okay. So this is really important. So Julie told us that she was asleep at 4:55 a.m. January 29th, 2022, when her phone woke her up and it was Jen's missed call. And that's how she found out about John dying. Now, I just read to you Jen's account. Jen's account says that they were looking for John until 5:53 in the morning. They didn't call 911 until 6:04. So how is she getting the call about John being dead at 4:55 a.m.? These people are 150% full of shit. Like, I am absolutely convinced of it. And the reason why I know about that he was in the house, the reason why I am sure that he was in the house is because of Ryan's statement to the police. Absolutely because of Ryan's statement to the police. What is Turtle Boy saying here, man? Did you see the new drop today? Colin's alibi text message, which is clearly altered. No, I have not. And we've been in contact. I might as well just let everybody know now. We have been in contact, and we are going to set something up very soon to where you're up here and you're going to educate me on some things, dudes. I am beyond interested in what you have to say. So I really hope that you'll still consider joining me up here soon and get to the bottom of a lot of this stuff. Awesome, dude. Yeah, of course, dude. And I hope you understand why I've been postponing it, because when I look at these things, especially when there's like a split room where that split room is starting to get hostile with each other, I need to learn for myself. I need to look at these documents myself, even though I'm a little stupid. But I need to look at these documents for myself and make my own decisions before I start to, take anyone else's account. Because having you up here would not mean that I'm taking your side and I completely agree with you or anything like that. But I don't want to be influenced by someone else's opinion before I make my own. That was the whole thing behind it. No, I lived in Atlanta for a while, but I live in Tennessee now. But where in Tennessee? You'll never know. So yeah, I don't understand that. But because if that's how she learned about, how did she learn about, right? Evil Regal, you're making an excellent point. There's two sides to why that's bullshit. A, it's a missed call, and that's how she learned about John being dead. But she got the call at 4:55. How did she get that call at 4:55 informing her that John was dead when no one knew John was dead until after 6 in the morning? Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. I am of the opinion that every single one of those people, except for the Ryan guy, is totally full of shit. Ryan's the only one I believe. I think all of those other people are completely and totally talking out of their asses. Yeah, there was quite a typo. There was quite a few typos, but I mean, that's not a typo you want to make. Someone's life is on the line here. You know what I mean? The justice, I mean, these are cops getting justice for a fellow cop. And yeah, why are they saying he didn't come into the house? And that's just my wheels turning, but why? I would love to know what, I mean, it could have been anything, but I'd love to know what Brian's business was in New York. That's what I'd love to know. I'm interested to find that out. What was Brian's business in New York? But that's the thing, Meep. Cops are thick as thieves, and that's great, you know, and they should be. You know what I mean? They have to trust each other to watch each other's back. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a thing here, man. Like, this is something that I'm going to explain before I close this out. But there's something in the police force known as the thin blue line. And I have my own definition of what that thin blue line is. Okay? The thin blue line to me is if you are an honest cop, you are a hero. You are to be honored. But the reason why that blue line is so thin is if you become corrupt in any way, shape, or form, then you are one of the lowest pieces of shit on the planet. You are perverting the trust that the public has instilled in you to uphold justice, to uphold the law, and to uphold justice. If you violate that sanctity of being a servant of the law to protect and serve, you violate that. There's no way you're not victimizing someone. So that's why it says there's no gray area. You're not, oh, he's a like, if you become a corrupt cop, there's no gray area where he's like, he's corrupt, but he's an okay person. No. Because you're completely and totally untrustworthy. Your trust, your worth of trust is gone. It means dick, nothing anymore. Because I'm trusting you. Like, that kind of power to have for an ordinary man or woman to have the authority over other ordinary men or women comes with a certain sense of honor that most ordinary men or women cannot have. You have to earn that. And that comes with a trust. It comes with a trust that no matter right or wrong, I can count on you to do the right thing. You have to put aside your sensibilities and fight for my rights and you have to fight for justice. That's your job. That's the oath you take. So I don't want you to think that I hate cops. I love cops. I love the idea behind what a cop is supposed to be. I always support law enforcement. When I cover these crime cases, I'm always in support of law enforcement until I don't have a reason to be. But it's never all of law enforcement. Sometimes there's one or two or three or four that turn out to be pieces of shit. It happens because they are human beings at the end of the day. They have temptations in their faces. It happens. It just is what it is. But what sets them apart to have the stuff, what sets them apart is to have that stuff where they can fight those temptations and not give in to those temptations in order to still serve justice. So it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you see, I mean, what I can't get over are these two kids. What I can't get over are these two kids that they lost their parents and now they lost their uncle who, like, I can't stop thinking about how this is affecting them. And I can't stop thinking about how low it is that they conducted interviews on these kids. I can't imagine why they would conduct interviews on these kids. It doesn't make sense to me. They weren't witnesses. They weren't there. Like, is the purpose of them just to simply trash Karen Reed, to simply ruin her character in some way, shape, or form? Do you need those kids to do that? Is that how low you have to go? Is to forensically interview these kids to find out if they got along with Karen Reed, if she was a bad person, and that's something that they can prove in court? Are they planning on calling these kids onto the stand to testify to this? I mean, is that how low you have to get to dig for this person's lack of character to convict her? The fuck is that? I mean, they're kids, dude. And these kids been through enough. That shit fucking infuriates me. I'll tell you that right now. That shit just simply infuriates me. And maybe I'm missing something, because you know what? We follow these cases and then they go to trial, and then a lot of things come to light, and a lot of things make sense that didn't make sense before once they come to light, once they go to trial. So, but these are things that in theory are bothering the shit out of me. There are things about this case that are bothering the shit out of me. I'm wondering why, and I haven't even gotten to this stuff yet. I haven't even really looked into it. I'm talking about just based on the presentation in pretrial. I think it was a pretrial hearing that the defense gave, explaining the nature of John's injuries and explaining all of this evidence. And there was passion coming from these lawyers, and maybe that passion comes from them just being really good lawyers, and that's why they make big bucks, But the prosecution was just like lazy in not even just, but in a way just cocky and lazy and cocky in how they had explanations and writing off why they weren't presenting the evidence and making it available for the defense to properly examine, that they believe is going to help exonerate their client. Why is the defense more passionate about this case than the prosecution? Why is the defense showing more evidence to prove their case when the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and and the prosecution's not even showing nearly as much evidence as the defense? It makes no sense. The burden of proof is on the prosecution, yet they're just acting all willy-nilly and are barely showing anything. And the defense is working their asses off to disprove the prosecution's case, when all they have to do is just create a shred of doubt. That's all their job really is to do. And that's what a good lawyer always does. They just go the safe route. But here they are accusing a bunch of cops of fucking lying. Making themselves public enemy number one. You got Turtle Boy out here, like, putting his ass on the line, standing out in front of fucking, like, in the middle of Boston, dude, like, putting his balls out there, dude. That shit is crazy. There's no way that somebody with common sense is going to put themselves in harm's way like that under the belief that there's such a powerful corruption system right here that is in cahoots, and there's a conspiracy to frame this woman, and you're going to put your balls out there every day unless you absolutely believe with all your heart that this woman is innocent. It's not, it's way too unlikely. It's way too unlikely. And one way or the other, there's injustice being done. Because either the Boston Police Department, Canton, they're all getting a bad rap. Their reputations are being ruined and dragged. Or Karen Reed is being fucking basically lynched, railroaded into a murder rap. When at best it's manslaughter. At best it's manslaughter. That is shady as shit as it is. At best, it's fucking manslaughter. Like, if she premeditated this shit, right, and did this shit all maliciously, why would she come back and try to perform CPR on this guy and incriminate herself, saying, you know, did I kill him, or I killed him, I hit him, or did I hit him, or whatever? It doesn't make sense. Why the Murder 2 rap? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, man. Right. But where's the intent? What? That they were having problems as a couple? I mean, who doesn't have fucking problems, dude? You know what I mean? Like, and where's the actual proof that they were having problems, aside from the people who are saying that they were having problems, who also claim they don't even know this girl? None of them even know her. They say it in their statements. They don't even really know her. But, you know, they have some insight into their relationship. They could sit here and make it seem like she had some sort of intent. Like what? That she, you know, had this whole "if I can't have you, nobody can" kind of bullshit. That dog don't hunt either, man. Just don't. Right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you, I mean, it doesn't, like, none of this shit adds up. And then that's the thing. It's like, that's how they prove that you're a dangerous psychopath, because they go, well, look how composed that person is. Look at them smiling, you know? And it's like, like, once you're deemed a psychopath, no matter what your behavior is, it's all wrong. No matter what. Once they like slam that shit on you, you're, you know, that label all you, that they slap you with the you're a psychopath bullshit. No matter what you say or do is, you know, like, it's going to be put in that category of psychopathic behavior. Fascinating. But yeah, man. Listen, I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all your support. Thanks for joining me. And big shout out again to Sleuthy Goosey, and to Turtle Boy for joining my chat and being supportive here and sharing insights. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much. I am going to wrap this up. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friend. Turtle Boy, I will be in touch.